I am pleased and honored to have in the studio with me David Cobb, the national spokesperson for MoveToAmend.org. You hear me ranting about Move to Amend constantly. If we want to save our republic, if we want to convert it back to a republic from an oligarchy and a kleptocracy and a plutocracy, we need to get money out of politics. And step one is to say that the Supreme Court was full of beans. I'm being very diplomatic here. It's radio. When they said that money is protected by the First Amendment and corporations are protected by the 14th Amendment. It's nuts. David, welcome.
Thank you, Tom. It's a pleasure to be back, and I appreciate how you are almost unique amongst journalists about being able to actually talk about the two separate, related legal doctrines of corporations claiming constitutional rights and money as political speech. Let's be very clear. The court created those doctrines.
Right.
It is judicial activism at its worth. Remember, principal conservatives claim to believe that the court should only be interpreting law, not legislating from the bench. Corporate constitutional rights and money is speech, legislating from the bench, and not just on an individual policy level, but at a core doctrine. What these do, let's be very clear. If a corporation can claim constitutional rights, means corporate lawyers can go into court, overturn environmental protection laws, worker safety laws, public health laws. There's not a single law that we can work for at the local, state, or federal level that is not subject to being overturned by the courts. So the concept of corporate constitutional rights is profound. And of course, Unequal Protection, your book is really the seminal book to this day in academic scholarship that actually debunks that entire mythology. But it's a true statement. The second doctrine, that money equals speech, is equally odious, also created by the court. That seminal case is, of course, Buckley versus Vallejo, and then First National Bank versus Bellotti, and a host of other cases. But at its core, it says that the expenditure of money, which is property, somehow is
and the expenditure is a behavior, and we always said we could regulate behaviors.
And that has always been the case, right? But this creation, if money is speech and First Amendment protected speech, what that means is the wealthy elite can spend unlimited amounts of money in elections, which they're doing. Let's be honest, Tom, you yourself have been chronicling this. It's getting worse and worse and worse. The Supreme Court has turned our elections into auctions. And what really angers me, and I mean at a righteous anger level, is that they are stealing our sacred right to self-government and then using the legal system to legalize the theft and tell us, well, it's just the law. You have to accept it. But Tom, we don't have to accept it any more than the American revolutionaries had to accept what the English Parliament were doing, any more than the abolitionists accepted what the courts were doing, or the women's suffrage movement, or the trade union movement, or the civil rights movement. We got to do what other movements have done: educate, agitate, organize, and build a mass movement that ultimately takes its way into codification at the United States constitutional
amending
level.
The Supreme Court.
Amending
the Constitution, rather, excuse me. You know, one of the things that boggles my mind, David, and I just, in the last year or so, has this occurred to me, and, it was almost like a light bulb going off over my head. The argument that conservatives make, and they come on this program and on my TV show all the time and say, oh, yeah, of course money is speech. I mean, it's free speech. And you want to deny the Koch brothers their right to speak? I mean, that's not nice, sort of thing. And as if in our society we don't have limits on speech that actually enhance speech. And I'm not talking about yelling fire in a crowded theater. If you have, for example, a city council meeting, right, and there's some contentious issue, some zoning issue going on, and it's a 1-hour meeting, and 30 people show up and want to speak, the mayor of the town will say, everybody gets 2 minutes.
Correct.
And so we limit speech in order to increase the variety of speech. We actually enhance free speech by limiting speech. The Supreme Court did it this morning. They said to the litigators in the gay marriage case, you guys have 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's it. They limited free speech. But then they say to the Koch brothers, oh, there's no limit on your speech. 100 million, 200 million, 600 million, 899 million, no problem.
Correct.
No limit.
So let me, Tom, as a lawyer, what I really appreciate your ability to sort of cut through, because what you've just done is articulate, in my estimation, and I think that most people who have thought about this is an equal protection argument,
Yes.
right? And so if you allow unlimited amounts of money in elections, what you let the wealthy now can buy microphones and amplifiers and flood the airwaves and flood all of the public discourse so that it drowns out the voices of ordinary people, right? So that's what's happening. It's an equal protection argument, pure and simple. That's the reason why Move to Amend is getting larger, stronger, and better organized every day. You and I have been knowing each other for a while, right?
Yeah.
It was a crazy idea to think that we could actually go against these legal doctrines when we first started. You were one of the initial supporters of Move to Amend when we were 12 people in a living room.
I remember.
Today, we're 386,000 people, Tom, and we have over 100 local affiliates. That is, community organizers who are actually doing the work in their communities day to day. And 600 communities have passed resolutions of support of our proposed amendment. And 16 states are on record calling for a constitutional amendment. And the metric I'm most proud of, Tom, we've been on the ballot over 300 times in this country. Not just city council members voting on it, but letting ordinary people vote on the issue, which gives Move to Amend both the opportunity and the responsibility to educate voters about just what the heck this all means. Tom, we've been on the ballot over 300 times. Can you guess how many times we've won?
100% of the time?
100% of the time. We haven't lost yet. And yes, that includes Boston, Massachusetts, and Madison, and Ann Arbor, and, San Francisco, the liberal places. You know where else we win? Salt Lake City, Utah. We won in Waukesha, Wisconsin, which is the hometown of Tea Party Governor Scott Walker, where they haven't voted for a Democrat for president or Congress in over 40 years. Move to Amend was on the ballot there, and we won. We won in a statewide initiative in Montana. Yeah, that Montana. And get this, 75% of the people. Tom, that's because what I know and you know is ordinary people who are not just spewing forth talking points, but are actually engaged in the Democratic Republic and actually believe that our country is supposed to be a republic where we the people rule. We recognize that the economic royalists have taken over every aspect of our society. Move to Amend is growing because ordinary people are coming together to say, it's our country and we want it back.
Yeah. So we got about 2 minutes left here, David. What can people do?
All right. So first, if you're not already participating at Move to Amend, go to the website, movetoamend.org, click the sign the petition, and join us. I know I feel like I owe you shares. If if Move to Amend was a corporation, you are our best cheerleader. But I know that your listenership is large. We don't have all of them. So folks, get involved, movetoamend.org. Right. The second thing I want to say is we are now running a Pledge to Amend campaign where we're taking this issue into the political discourse and debates at city council.
So you're doing a Grover Norquist.
We're doing a Grover Norquist from the bottom up, though, right? And
right.
Pledge to Amend plus Vote to Amend, where we're giving voters an opportunity to say, if you're not on the right side of this issue, you're not on the right side of me. And we've created Resist to Amend, helping people to engage in very respectful, dignified civil, nonviolent civil disobedience to take this issue up a notch. And we have created an art and culture workers caucus, a labor caucus, an interfaith caucus. I'm telling you.
Are these all different websites, or is this all at movetoamend.org?
All movetoamend.org. And this is the thing, Tom. It is going to our website, we know, is a bit like drinking from a fire hydrant. There's a lot there. But I promise you, call us, email us, tell us what you're interested in doing. We have a menu of different things that you can do. If you are retired and you can give full time to this effort, we will give you full-time work. If you've got 1 hour a week, we'll give you 1 hour a week worth of work. We will collaborate with any of your listeners who are interested in working with us. Movetoamend.org. We're ready to work with you.
Great. Get over there. Movetoamend.org is the website. Check it out. David Cobb, great to see you, David.
Thank you, Tom.
Always great to see you. You are one of my heroes. I got to tell you.
Thank you.
We will be right back. It's 15 minutes past the hour.